Hello there, Byakamizu desu and welcome to my review of Kingdom Hearts 2. So, I've also had the opportunity of finishing Kingdom Hearts 2 and I've had also started it on the PS2, so now I finished it on the PS4. And in the PS2, contrary to Kingdom Hearts 1, in which I was stuck in the boss almost at the end of the game, I was stuck in Beast's world fighting, I never remembered, I think his name is Zoldan, and I was just stuck in him. I used, even though I had Mickey to revive Sora, I was stuck in there on the PS2, and this time it wasn't like the Kingdom Hearts 1 in which I didn't use the ability points and whatnot. It was really because I don't know, I was underleveled, I don't know what happened, I just got really stuck, I stopped playing Kingdom Hearts 2 on the PS2, and now, after I tried Rechain and got stuck on Larxene, I decided to move on to Kingdom Hearts 2 and to play it again and see if this time I could go past Zoldan. As for the story, I really like the intro with Roxas. I already knew Roxas' story from the game movie of 358/2 days. I will probably comment on the story in another movie, but although the story in that game is quite enjoyable, there are some things that don't really sit well with me, like Xian's plot, because her plot should really be Roxas, because Roxas is much more likable. They do all the setup to be him, the impersonator of Sora in Organization 13, and then Xion just takes his place for whatever reason. I don't even understand why she exists in the first place, because it doesn't make sense. But that's something for me to criticize in another review. So the game starts with Roxas. We can see his last 7 days of summer, or the previous days to Sora's awakening, because due to the events of Rechain, he's been sleeping for 1 year at Castle of Oblivion, which is now in Twilight Town. I don't understand how those things really work, but Namine is trying to restore his memories, and Roxas is having his last days before Sora becomes whole again. So, although I find a little bit tedious that introduction, because it really takes it slow, because you are knowing Roxas, you are basically trying to know another protagonist, so to speak. And I understand why it's slow, because they're really trying to build up the character, but at the same time it's painfully slow. I even was dumb enough to try to, when they are doing those jobs, to try to gather money to go to the beach, I foolishly thought that if I had the money that they say for you to collect, that I would get a trophy, which I didn't, so I was kind of pissed off about that, but they just give a pat on the back of Roxas, like, oh, you did it, and that's it. So thank you for that. But then after Roxas disappears and Sora finally wakes up from his deep slumber, you will now go back to fighting the darkness, and now your new enemies are not Ansem, like it was in the previous game. It's a full organization of Nobodies, which is Organization 13. The story in Kingdom Hearts 2 is also really interesting. The one thing that I find that Kingdom Hearts 2 lacks compared to Kingdom Hearts 1 is the fact that you don't feel like the story, the main plot of Kingdom Hearts, intertwined with the Disney worlds, because in Kingdom Hearts 1, when you visited the worlds, you felt like it was part of the plot, because the worlds had the princesses of heart which you were trying to save and help. But in Kingdom Hearts 2, you don't have that plot, which is fine because we have to have different things, and the plot of Organization 13 is pretty interesting. But you feel like you visiting the worlds doesn't make any sense, because there are only one or two worlds where you specifically fight Organization 13 members. So I feel like you are just visiting Disney worlds for the sake of it, and then you have basically a major info dump on the end about the main plot of this Kingdom Hearts. It's I think they should have tried. It's not really bad, but I think they should have tried to intertwine better the story, so that you would feel like visiting the worlds is also part of the plot, and not some addition because, oh yes, I want to visit Disney worlds. I also don't really find interesting you have to visit the worlds more than one time. You have, except for Ariel, which you need some requisites, you have to visit each world 2 times, and I don't see the point of that. Also, in this game, I also completed all the cups. There are only 3 cups on the Hercules world, so I completed all the worlds. Once again, they do a really good job at taking the Disney stories and keeping them, as well as modifying them so that it makes sense that Sora, Donald and Goofy are interfering with the story. So that's really well done. I'm not a big fan of The Little Mermaid, but I also found really interesting the mechanics of rhythmic and the musical part of it. It was actually quite interesting to defeat Ursula by dancing through her villainous song. So it's really an interesting mechanic. They do a good job at doing the rhythms, which is an experience I didn't have with the demo of Melody of Memory. I also ranted about this on my social media, but Melody of Memory, I think it fails on its premise. Yes, it's innovative the way they do the rhythm game, but the rhythm isn't there. And when I did these little games in the Little Mermaid world, I felt like the rhythm was there, because when I got a good or a bad, I understood that it was my fault for failing the rhythm. I understood that. And in Melody of Memory, I didn't understand that, because I can't feel the rhythm. It doesn't make any sense, the cues. But once again, that's not about Kingdom Hearts 2, that's about an entirely different game, and I already spoke about that. So I really enjoyed The Little Mermaid. I enjoyed the moments where you could hear Sora's voice actor singing along, and that really stuck in my head because I really enjoyed it. I even had to repeat the song in which he sang. He has a line like, darling, take it from me, and I just lost it at that moment. I really had to repeat that song because I was just laughing. Not because he's a bad singer, because he's a very natural singer, but it was so funny, and so it was not unexpected because I already had my boyfriend tell me about it, but it was so enjoyable that I really had to repeat the song because I failed all the rhythmic cues. So it was really fun. The story is also very interesting. Your final boss in here is Xemnas, which I guess is another part of Xehanort. I'm still lost on how many people Xehanort is at the same time, whatever. And the thing with Nobodies and everything, because you have Heartless and you have Nobodies and then you have Dusks, and I don't know, it's just I think they want to do like this span of different things, and they all amount to the same thing. It's people that lose their hearts to the darkness. So I don't know. For me, that is one of the main confusing things about Kingdom Hearts. But it's not a bad thing, but I just think there are unnecessary distinctions and names for everything. I really like Rick's plot because he basically let his body be consumed by Ansem so he could use the darkness to protect Sora. And it is from this game on that you start to actually ship Sora more with Riku than Kairi, because although you have this really interesting scene where Roxas and Namine are saying that they can always be together because they are the nobodies of Sora and Kairi, so whenever Sora and Kairi are together they can be together, and you have the moments where Sora is in the Nightmare Before Christmas world and he sees Sally and Jack dancing and he's remembering Kairi and everything. You feel like more and more they are, I know they are best friends, but it feels like they are pushing Sora and Riku together. I mean, Sora in the end of this game was about to be in the darkness forever with Riku. He accepted that idea, he didn't mind that. So, I don't know. But they have a really cool dynamic. It was really cool to fight Xemnas alongside with Riku. Riku is a fantastic character. I really enjoy his appearance in 358 because he's wearing this black coat and he has that on his eyes, and he reminds me like a 9S with longer hair, and everybody that knows me will say that those kind of visuals are my kryptonite, are my Achilles foot, but whatever. I really like the design, I really like Riku's character. He's really edgy and angsty teenager, but he also has a really cool development and he's surely one of my favorites alongside Sora. And of course, I think for now my favorite girl is Namine, and I would love to cosplay as her because I really like her powers, I like her design, and I think she deserves more attention because she's a really cool character and Rechain does a really good job at introducing her, and she's an amazing character. So I hope to continue playing Kingdom Hearts games, and maybe my next review may be about Birth by Sleep, which I already started. So tell me what are your favorite moments in Kingdom Hearts 2. Tell me which are your favorite soundtracks also. It's also a really cool theme to discuss. And tell me what you want to see more. Don't forget, follow my social media if you want to see my screenshots and other updates. And remember, my friends are my power. See you!